Good afternoon, Mr. Brando Benifei. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to G4 Media today. You are a rapporteur for a report on a toy safety directive, which was voted recently in the Internal Market and Consumer Protection Committee. Briefly, this is about strengthening the current rules and market surveillance to ensure that all toys sold on an EU market, including from non-EU countries and online, are safe. The report calls on the Commission to step up EU rules on the manufacture and sale of toys in the EU. Please give us some details regarding chemicals, for example. What do you in this report request exactly to be changed in the current directive? Could you provide also some concrete examples?
Yes, first of all, thank you for asking me for this interview. I think it's important that we explain to the public what we are doing in the Parliament on very important topics like this, the safety of our children. So thanks for this opportunity. I think that today the main goal for this work of the Parliament is to ensure that we have a safe and compliant toys market circulating in the EU space. Children are vulnerable consumers in a delicate age, and I believe they should enjoy the highest level of protections against hazards caused by chemical substances in toys. I believe that we cannot accept a low level of protection of toys towards carcinogenic and mutagenic, and so this directive that we think could be converted into a regulation. This is what we are sustaining in the text. And we suggested this to the Commission, could be an occasion to have a more coherent and clear legislation for all the member states. Specifically, I believe, for example, that the limit values for nitrosamines and nitrosettable substances in the Toy Safety Directive are too high. This revision should be an occasion to lower this limit to the standard, for example, of Germany. Furthermore, the TSD requirements on chemical need to be read together with the EU legislation on chemicals. Sometimes the Toy Safety Directive provides for stricter limit values for some substances compared to other legislation. And I think in this case, it could be reasonable to explore the possibility to consolidate all applicable limit values for toys in one piece of legislation. I believe also, for example, that the endocrine disruptors, which are not mentioned in the Toy Safety Directive, but they are an area of concern, needs to be taken into account. We need to introduce and reinforce provisions to take into account also the combination effects of chemicals on toys. So this is what we are proposing. And when I said that we want to have a regulation, it's because presently the directive can have very different applications in the member states. We see too much fragmentation, while with the regulation it would be much more uniform at the EU level.
Regarding, there are two main components of these proposals, the chemicals, as you mentioned, and the toys, connected toys. This is also a very interesting issue. What are the details regarding this category? Why do they, in your opinion, in the opinion of the European Parliament, create new vulnerabilities and pose a risk to children's safety?
We can say that in the last years, connected toys experienced an increase. I believe these raises new risks and challenges for children, which are vulnerable consumers that need a special attention. If we focus on the aspect of connected toys, we can talk about a risk for children that goes beyond health and safety and includes security and privacy. I'm saying this because I believe that if we do not have protected toys, for example, with a robust cybersecurity, they could have access to the private sphere of the children and their families, with the possibility to manipulate or locate the utilizers. This kind of toys, if not well safeguarded, could pose a serious risk to children's safety, because they could be used for despicable crimes such as pedopornography. And as these toys are often connected to the internet and can interact with children, we need these safeguards against cyber threats to be very clear. As we state in the report, some of the toys already placed in the EU market have shown a low level of security or even no security. As policymakers, we will call the Commission to explore actions to address this issue by, for example, extending the scope of the Toy Safety Directive to include provisions on privacy and information security, and referring to reinforced horizontal legislation on cybersecurity requirements for connected products. Of course, by involving the European Parliament in its choices, as we are really engaged in having safe and compliant toys circulating in the EU market. So as you see, we need to update the legislation also because new risks come from this new technological environment.
And also it's a matter of much more online buying of the toys and online acquisitions. How do you think it will affect the producers and those who buy and sell on the EU market? Will they have losses because if these rules will be applied, or do they have an opinion about all this?
Well, for sure, we need to include, and we have been working with stakeholders of all kinds to have a balanced report. While we were working on the report, the Commission, with which we made many exchanges, has confirmed that there will be a revision of the Toy Safety Directive, and they are starting the work on it. Presumably, it will come up in 2023, and we hope it will follow many of the recommendations of our report, starting from the call to convert it into a regulation. Then the Parliament and Council will examine the proposal, and I'm sure that it will contain reasonable deadlines for application, taking into account the needs of businesses, which are mostly SMEs in Europe, but especially those of our children, whose safety should come first. So we need to have an adoption of a new text that gives the time to adapt the way we produce the toys and we use them. But for sure, we need an ambitious text with a swift adoption.
So briefly, will Santa Claus bring safer toys this year or not yet? Maybe next year or in 2 years?
Next year. I think that next year we can see if we can start applying at national level recommendations that we put. And 2023, we, as I said, we can see a new legislation coming up. So it will be the next 2 years that will be the years where we can see a very concrete change in this that can make toys safer for our children.
Thank you very much, and good luck with all your initiatives.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.